Consider a non-uniform solid which is approximated by a mass distribution that's not symmetric. While each different mass I has a gravitational force acting on it. And we can find an equivalent system where all the mass is lumped at one location. So we'll call this the resultant weight. And that's equal to the sum of the weights of all the masses. And the other condition that needs to be satisfied is that the torque, which is this lever arm from the origin, multiplied by the resultant weight, is equal to the sum of the individual perpendicular lever arms from the origin to each mass. So this will become clear when you look at torques. And if you divide through by the resultant weight, and then substitute for the weight, so this here is called the center of gravity, where the gravitational acceleration is non-uniformly distributed across the solid. And for the case where the solid is in a uniform gravitational field near the surface of the Earth, so in other words, Gi is constant, then we can take G out of the sum and cancel it out. And this expression here is known as the center of mass. Suppose this is an infinitely thin rod, and recall the center of mass for a discrete body. While treating this rod as a continuous body assembled of these infinitely thin elements, we can take the limit of each sum as n approaches infinity. So we have this rod being assembled with an infinite number of masses. So therefore we obtain the following integral expression. Now if we visualize this as a differential mass element, then that's equal to the density by the volume of the element. And for this one-dimensional rod, we have a uniform area. So effectively, the volume is area by dx. So what we call this is lambda, or the linear density. So for this one-dimensional rod, we can write the center of mass as follows. Where we're integrating over the length of the rod. So if lambda changes with respect to x, we can't take it out of the integral. But if the rod has a constant density, we can take the linear density out of the integrals and cancel them out. Now in contrast, if we consider this rod as two-dimensional with a thickness, so this here is now our differential area element. So in this case, our differential mass element is going to be the density multiplied by the thickness of the rod, which is uniform out of the plane. So thickness multiplied by the differential area is going to give us the volume. So what we call this is sigma, or the areal density. So in this case, for our two-dimensional body, we integrate over the area and replace the linear density with the areal density. The center of gravity is not the same as the center of mass, and equal to the following expression. Where we integrate over the weight of a solid. Now a case where these two expressions are equivalent is where you have a mass that's sufficiently smaller than a planet, and therefore the gravitational force acting on it is constant. Whereas if you had an object that has an equivalent size to a planet, then the portions of mass that are closer to the center of the planet experience a higher force, whereas elements of the object that are further from the planet experience a lower gravitational force. And when we look at Newton's law of gravitation, you'll see that the gravitational acceleration is inversely proportional to the square of the radial distance from the planet to an element of the object that we're looking at. But in most cases, we look at objects that are in a uniform gravitational field and thereby calculate the center of mass. So as we know, for a uniform bar, the center of mass is in the middle, but for a non-uniform bar, where we have stronger forces on the left in this case, the center of gravity is going to be to the left, such that you have more of the bar subjected to the weaker forces, balancing the part that's subjected to stronger forces. A system of particles is connected by rigid links, and we're asked to find the horizontal center of mass relative to the orange particle. And each particle has a mass m, and the rigid links are massless. So writing our expression for the center of mass, so what we do is multiply the horizontal distance to the particle relative to the orange particle as we're asked, and then multiply that by the mass of the particle. So doing the same thing to the other particles, and we multiply this by 2 because we have 2 blue particles. And the distance to the orange particle is obviously 0, so we ignore it. So now in the denominator, we have 4 masses. So the total mass is 4m. And I'll leave it for you to simplify this and post your answer in the comments. The density function and the length of a bar are given below. Find the center of mass. So let's take our origin at the left of the bar and draw our mass element, which is at some distance x from the origin, and has an infinitesimal width dx. So recall the integral form of the center of mass for a continuous body. So for our one-dimensional bar, we can write our differential mass as the density multiplied by the cross-sectional area of the bar, which is constant, by the thickness of the mass element. So this here is our linear density. And in this case, our density function is a function of x. So we can rewrite this expression as the integral over the length, and we have x by dm over the integral of the linear density function with respect to x. And now we can substitute for our linear density function. And integrate from 0 to the length of the bar. And now you can evaluate these integrals and post your answer in the comments. Suppose we have 2 blocks sliding along a frictionless surface, then we can treat this as a system and isolate it as a free body. So here we have the external forces acting on the system. And we've drawn a free body of each component in the system, being the 2 blocks and the string. And if we designate this as the total mass of the system and multiply through by m, and differentiate this expression twice with respect to time, And applying Newton's second law, well, you can see that the forces internal to the system, being the tension forces on either side of the string, cancel out by Newton's third law. So therefore the net internal force is 0, and the mass of the system multiplied by the acceleration of the centre of mass is equal to the net external force applied on the system. So here we can observe each component of the system accelerates at the same acceleration, being the acceleration of the centre of mass. So we can treat this as a single mass, where the total mass of the system is as follows. And the net external force in the horizontal direction is F. And therefore you can solve for the acceleration of the centre of mass using this equation, and then solve for the tension forces in the string using the free bodies of each component of the system. And if the net external force on the system is 0, then the centre of mass does not accelerate and the velocity remains constant.